Well, I see Miss Nocturne is there, and I sent her a private chat. Does she want to be on camera? Just shake your head yes or no. I can see you.
Oh.
If you're cool with it. If you're cool with it, I'll bring you on and bring you on camera. Just nod your head up and down, yes or no. Okay, cool. There we go. Hey, there, Miss Nocturne.
Oh, looky there. I love it.
It is wonderful. Awesome. Awesome.
I may come off of it at some point. It's being a little weird, but hey, guys.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's a pleasure meeting you finally face to face. Well, I have to show this off because because Kaiser was so disturbed by it. I showed this earlier
in the best way possible, though.
What is it?
This is my intro for tomorrow night. And I put it together. I was just like, I don't know how well it'll work. I'll let chat decide. Okay. Because I'm covering Sarah Boone. See.
Yeah.
Here we go.
The one with
yourselves. Gird thy loins.
Oh, that's the one with
brace yourself.
Small and tight, do not let you Sarah's laugh rings through the night. Such a brute, drunk and silly, thought she'd play. Crazy witch, locked me in just for the day. Life's a bitch, can't you hear me, Sarah, please? Crook ass bitch, out of air my lungs they squeeze. Let me out, you witch, this is not a funny joke. You put your hands around my throat, feeling trapped and nearly choke, gonna croak. Can't you hear me, Sarah, please? Crook ass bitch, out of air my lungs they squeeze. Let me out, you witch, this is not a funny joke. You put your hands around my throat, feeling trapped and nearly choke, gonna croak. Sarah, let me out, I'm begging, please. Stop, I'm almost begging, please. Please, someone don't leave me here. Lost my hair, in this case I disappear. Are you there? Dark and tight, I curl and wait. Are you passed out? You'd return my fate. You emptied my stash out. The game has turned to cruel. Why are you filming late? Inside I feel the fool. I can't breathe. Wasn't meant to be my night, hiding in the suitcase tight. Sarah's giggles fade away, leaving me as her castaway. Sarah, let me out, I'm begging, please. Please stop, I'm almost begging, please. Please, someone don't leave me here. Lost my hair, in this case I disappear. Are you there? Boom. Looking tight, I curl and wait. Are you passed out, hoping you return my fate? Empty my stash out, stupid game has turned to cruel. Are you feeling me? Lost it, gotta feel the fool. I can breathe, wasn't meant to be my night. Hiding in a suitcase tight, Sarah's giggles fade away, leaving me as a castaway. Sarah, let me out, I'm begging, please. Breathing stuff, I'm almost begging, please. Drink some, God, don't leave me here. Lost my air, in this gear, in this case I disappear. Are you there? Sarah, boom. 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 Sarah, boom.
I love that.
You think it's good?
I like it a lot.
Yeah. I thought it would go really well for Sarah Boone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did she until until she ended up in prison.
Yeah. I don't think she's going to get out anytime soon. Sort of like George. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's one trial I don't really have a lot of interest in watching. It's just got too much baggage.
But I'm pumped.
Hello, just flying in, fly on the wall. Good to see you, salty dog. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun tonight because we have a little more TJ fans work.
Oh. Was I say how?
Well, you might be howling.
Lots of hands.
By the
I
end of the
can't
night.
howl, man. I can't do it.
Oh, I know. Hey, you're absolutely fine. All you have to do is just enjoy. Be your mystery voice commentator.
Be my normal self. Just with a voice that's completely shot.
Well, you did have a good game last night. I'm just
Did have a good game. We won, but at the expense of my voice.
Yeah.
So,
But it was a good time though.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
Of course.
Yes.
You got rowdy a little bit.
Well, I haven't heard from Yamaha tonight.
Oh no.
He may be a little bit late, but that's okay. If he's a little late, we forgive him. And he may just say, you know what, I'm just not able to do it. It happens.
He might be tired of us. I don't blame him. Schooner. Where's the schooner?
Schooner.
Your schooner.
Yes. Hey, Gutters girl. Good to see you.
Be right back.
You guys ready for tonight?
Yeah.
We're starting it off with Jacob. Chapter 2.
Woo.
We only made it to chapter 2. That tells you how bad we're doing. If we only made it to chapter 2.
Well,
Well, we finished one and we started another one, didn't we? Oh wait, I don't know.
Yeah, we're halfway through something.
I don't know. I wasn't here last week. That's
She
right.
needs a Yamaha fix. Well,
Yamaha.
It's how she says Yamaha. It's not
like
Yamaha.
Like it's a
Yamaha.
tasty treat, like a pudding.
Yamaha.
He is a tasty treat. Go Wells, go Big Orange. There you
That's
go.
right, Daddy.
right.
That's right, baby.
Nice.
Oh, that's bad. Well, we'll start it out here with chapter 2. Let's see if I can move some people around here. We will put Diva there. So that way we have boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Boy, girl. Boy, girl.
Yeah.
So you're a girl, Shizzy. I'm glad you identify as that today.
Thank you.
Yay. You're a lesbian.
I am.
He is. He is a lesbian.
Yes.
And you guys are doing great.
there she is.
Heading home, so you can be around very soon. Very much so. Everybody, this is the writer of this book. If you guys haven't checked out Teresa Finn, her link, November 1st, she's got a new release coming out, which is going to be part 3 of this series. Oh my, oh my. Make sure that you give her some love. Give her some love. Here we are. Chapter 2. Jacob let out a breath. Wait a second. What just happened? I just saw a disturbance in the force. What I feel it. Oh. He's like a wrestler from the 80s.
Schooner.
All right.
I might be a little less animated tonight, but that's all right.
Oh, did you go to the game too?
No, I'm just gonna. Just kind of. But who knows? They say laughter is the best medicine. So let's see what you assholes can do.
Well, as long as you don't.
I hear you're supposed to be funny.
I'm funny. Is that good enough? I mean,
Then set your bar low.
Yeah,
right.
funny.
Yeah.
well, low enough. You at least
That's
catch
all
a couple
I
of
made it
angles.
here. I made it here.
You
I don't know
made
about you, but I'm hilarious, bitch.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Gutters Pub, Tammy, Debbie.
Good to see you. Good
Audio
to see
coffee.
you. Well, Jacob, he let out a breath. He was holding as he watched Lorna pace in front of him, chewing her thumbnail, refusing to look at him. He hated that he had just hurt her. Oh, painful, and knew she was trying to decide how to respond to him. Suddenly, she stopped pacing, her jaw clenched and trying to control her breathing. He punched her upside the... I only have one question left, Jacob. They have been having this discussion for the past hour, and a half of Jacob's brain was getting tired while his wolf paced restlessly. Ooh, he wanted out. He just wanted to unzip those pants. He wanted it to run, but despite the slight ripples in his muscles, telling him his wolf was not happy. He'd been able to keep the animal contained, but it was 2 a.m. He needed to sleep. He wanted to go to sleep with Lorna curled up beside him. It didn't look like either were going to happen.
Up inside her?
Well, you know, she was...
Curled up inside her?
Oh.
Well, you know, what can I say? Just get a little...
Get a little closer.
Get a little closer.
Don't be shy.
The argument. She had called it a discussion between two consenting adults. Other words, she got out her knee pads and went to work. It started when Lorna told him she wanted to move in with him. She wanted to take the relationship to that next level, whatever the hell that meant. Jacob being cut off guard.
Run.
Well, they had been in his bed. They were both lying there, trying to catch their breaths, getting ready for round 3 or 4.
Don't do it, Jacob.
Overachievers.
Yeah, don't.
Well,
Show off.
He didn't know. All he knew is Lorna was sexy as hell with her long tan legs that perfectly wrapped around his waist and ground into him like a meat grinder, and her beautiful ebony hair was long enough for him to wrap around his hand, grab her, and ride her like a donkey that needed to be tamed. Lorna had asked, and Jacob had said no. That should have been the end of it. No, but it hadn't been. And their discussion had been going on for the past hour and a half. She said, Jacob, are you listening to me? Yes, dear, I'm listening to you now.
Yeah, I'm listening.
What's that in your mouth? Jacob, he focused on Lorna. He looked at her and sort of squinted with one eye closed, and he thought he had been listening. Well, maybe not. Perhaps he had been trying to control his wolf, or maybe his mind was just wandering because he was getting tired of discussing things. Yes, I'm listening to you, Lorna. Liar. His heart sunk. What was your question? He knew what was coming. A question he was surprised hadn't been asked before now. Jacob braced himself. He really hated hurting anyone, but he knew he was about to hurt Lorna. He said, do you love me? I don't think that you've ever said it back to me when I say it to you. You only smile and kiss me and we move on, and you just you wrap me like a pretzel and pound me like dog meat. I don't know what to think. Jacob quietly sighed, looked at Lorna. Any man would be lucky to love this woman. She was kind, caring, intelligent. She wasn't a dingy. I mean, she wasn't clingy or demanding. And was wild.
Stage 5 clinger.
Well, she was
move in. That's clingy.
I mean, she was a little crazy in bed. I mean, she got, like I'm saying, long tan legs. She just wrapped around you.
She had knees.
All that together with how beautiful she was, and she had the total package. Most men would be flocking to her or drooling over her. But Jacob wasn't most men. He stepped close to her, reached up to caress her beautiful olive skin, nibbling on her breastages. I told you, Lorna, we have fun. We enjoy each other's company. I like being with you, Jacob sighed. But no, sweet cheeks, I'm not in love with you, Lorna. We've talked about this. There's only one woman, and it's not you.
That was all just pillow top, baby.
Wow.
But Jacob stopped when he saw those tears just swimming in her dark blue eyes. He wanted to hold her, but he knew that he couldn't. He wiped a few stray tears from her cheeks as she nodded, slapped her ass, rolled her over, and continued on with business. She said, I understand, Jacob, but if you're right, we have talked about this, but you two aren't together anymore. And from what you've said, you won't ever be together again. Yet you can't seem to move on. Lorna wrapped her arms around herself and stepped back from him. I can't be here anymore. I'm in love with you, hopelessly. Lorna was cut off when Jacob's phone started ringing. He ignored it and it stopped, then almost immediately rang again. Just answer it, Lorna sighed, waving her hand towards the phone. Jacob picked up his phone. Yo. He growled out the greeting, not happy to be interrupted. Jacob, it's Max. Yeah, I have caller ID. Jacob watched Lorna walk out of the kitchen into his bedroom. What do you need, Max? It's almost 3 a.m. The sheriff chuckled at his tone. Well, I just had Paul Simpson stop by the station to say that there's a woman and her kid broke down on Highway 93 around mile marker 42. She declined his offer and to drive them into town with him. So he wanted to make sure I knew. Can you get your truck out there and head out there? He glanced at the clock on his stove. Oh, what the hell was a lone woman with a kid doing traveling this late at night in an unreliable vehicle? Stupid woman.
Well,
Yeah, God. Let me put some clothes on. I'll head out. Yeah, so put some clothes on. We don't want to scare the poor woman any more than she probably is. Man, fuck you, man. I'm a fine specimen of a man. Every woman in town wants to see my naked ass.
Oh, dear.
Jacob immediately regretted his words when Lorna walked back into the kitchen. Well, she was fully dressed by this time. Her keys were in her hand. Her phone was in her pocket. The pained look on her face had his chest tightening as he dropped his arm, pulling the phone away from his ear. Lorna, no, just don't, Jacob. I'll be back in a couple of days to get my stuff.
don't worry, bitch. I got FedEx.
Oh, my gosh.
DoorDash that shit. Uber.
Well, he watched her walk out the back door. Unlike where he'd been putting it in the back door earlier, the screen door banging shut behind her, and shaking his head, he brought the phone to his ear again. He was like, goodbye, good riddance, crazy, wild one. Max. Sorry, man. I didn't think. Did I interrupt something? Is Lorna there? Jacob, a long sigh. Well, no, the bitch done gone. She's not here no more. At least not anymore. We just broke up. Oh, yes, man. I'm sorry. Was it mutual? Jacob didn't want to talk about it, but he and the sheriff were best friends, and Max was just trying to help. I'm not really sure, man. To be like honest, I really don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna hang up so I can like put some clothes on and get out there before this woman starts to like panic. All right, but if we're gonna go out for a few beers later, you're gonna tell me exactly what happened because my life is so lame and miserable. I have no idea how to treat a woman. Jacob knew that wasn't gonna happen. He wasn't gonna tell him anymore. Him or anyone would happen. It wasn't fair to Lorna. It's like, listen, I'm hanging up, Chatty Cathy. I got work to do, and Max, give Willow my best. He ended the call before the sheriff could say anything else and headed to his bedroom. He'd move on and do what he needed to do to get done. He just walked into the bathroom, finished himself off, pulling on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. He grabbed his leather coat. Of course, why would he wear like anything that was appropriate for this weather? Because it's not 90 degrees out.
Yeah, I know,
No.
right?
Why is he not vegan? I thought he was the perfect man.
He's not perfect.
It
What are
could
you
be
doing?
leather. They make vegan leather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as
my
tasty,
God.
but
Yeah, what's
But, you know,
Exactly.
I mean, it works really well whenever you've got a vegan and you put them in like that ball gag. It's just
Oh my gosh.
So many questions.
so many questions. Well,
I mean,
just so you know,
is
he ended the
ball gag
call.
at least flavored?
Flavored ball.
Well,
gag? It could be flavored.
It could
Okay,
be
that's all I
flavored.
needed to know. I was just wondering
what
because it
fla-
just seems.
what flavor would you like, Miss Nocturna? What flavor really gets you off on your ball gag?
If we're talking about me now, I mean, it has to be cherry.
It has to be a
Of
cherry
course.
Just
cherry
so-
flavored ball gag.
Oh yeah.
He speaks.
It's gross.
Gosh,
I answered.
you did answer. Pulling on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, he grabbed his leather coat and keys before heading out to rescue some stranded woman. He drove through the sleepy town of Grady, heading out onto the state highway that ran through the middle of town. Max had told him mile marker 42. Well, shit, it would take him about a half an hour or so, but Jacob slipped his favorite AC/DC CD into the player and turned up the music because, Jesus, he doesn't have Pandora. Sorry, that's pretty bad. The beat thrummed through his whole body, and the tension eased from his shoulders as he banged his head. Just thunder. Yes. And the tension eased from his shoulder to the point where he felt lighter. He'd just gotten rid of one leg weight on his social calendar, and he was so happy to be free from her. That headache of the argument that caused was loosening hold on his head. Well, he told Lorna the truth, Mitch. He wasn't in love with her. It was because somebody else had taken his heart, and he knew it had always belonged to her. It didn't matter that it had been 3 years since he'd seen her. She just disappeared into the night with another man. I mean, what are you to do whenever she leaves on the bang bus in the middle of the night?
Isn't that the way
He
it
and his
always
wolf
is?
had known she was their fated mate early on. There wouldn't be anyone else to fill her spot. All right. Next. Kaiser.
Okay, well,
Kaiser.
Yep. Oh, yeah, the Kaiser there. Okay. Oh, well, as Jacob there topped the old hill and on the highway for almost 100 miles, you could see a vehicle inside of the road. And so it was up. There was a woman sitting there, inside doing some stuff on her cell phone now, And said it lighted the phone, sent a soft glow over her face, but it was too far away to make out any features. Yeah, all he could do all he could say was about it as they looked down at it. Pulling his truck to the side of the road, he slowly approached the vehicle from the front end, and they both faced each other. Okay, yep, that's kind of what you do in a roadside assistance situation there. It's just I had a couple of them up there on the lakes. It's in. Anyway, sorry, getting off track. Oh. No, you got to say something there. No, you got something to say?
I might be a werewolf, but I have a feeling he's playing the coyote before. It's okay. Werewolves can regrow their homes.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing there. Yep. So anyway, picking up where I left off there, he climbed out of his truck and grabbed his toolbox and flashlight, and he walked over to the Durango and took a look down at the engine. Driver's side door was open and then closed, and a woman walked around with him as a familiar scent of honeysuckle and pine hit As she stopped next to him, his wolf whimpered and paused suddenly, taking Jacob by surprise. She spoke in a new way. It stopped. I gassed up about 100 miles back, and it was driving just fine. And then suddenly it jerked and rocked, and I kept maybe going for another mile, then jerked again, and it stopped. Haven't been able to get it to start again. Oh, well, when it starts, jumping and, knocking there, probably not a good idea to keep starting it, bitch. God damn.
Go back to Texaco and tell them they gave you bad gas, okay?
You gave me bad gas, misters.
Just call AAA and, let the professionals handle the work. Jesus Christ.
I'm your AAA, baby.
She should be used to AAA by now.
More like XXX.
Oh.
Well, AAA, AA, whichever works.
Yeah, AAA actually doesn't exist in Canada. It's crazy. It's other names. Say we stuck there all day, eh? I'll be here all week. Anywho.
It worked.
I really had to get some golden commentary in there for us to go ahead and go through. Yeah, scared her, bitch. Okay, so just picking up where we left off. All the air in Jacob's lungs whooshed out as his heart raced so hard and so fast. Oh yeah, he thought his heart would explode from his chest. He started. He stepped back. He shined, a light in her face and the familiar small rounded nose, the same splash of freckles, dark green eyes. Looked up at him, wide and questioning. His wolf whimpered again, but Jacob pushed him back. That earned him a growl as his muscles rippled. The damn beast wanted out then and there. Who could blame him? Do you mind? You blinding me. Tessa. His throat tightened and say he had to force the name out of his mouth. The woman tilted her head the same way as he always remembered, and she looked at him. How do you know me? She took a step away from him. Her tone had lowered and sounded as menacing as she could get. He knew that tone. It was the one she used before she'd start kicking ass and taking names. She had been his little firecracker, his little wolf, his... He turned the flashlight around to shine in his face, just enough so that she could see him.
Me. Don't you remember?
I'm just picturing this. He's got the flashlight shined up in his face. Like, it's me. Stoner.
I've been right here this whole time, Tessa. It's been a long time. I'm here for you. Next time, Gadget.
I need a moment there, Shizzy. My God. It always takes me 3 times longer than everybody else to get through my sections because we're all usually cracking up. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
And it's a good thing. We love it. It's great.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. Maybe you want to go see it, throw some brats on the grill and watch the Packers. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Oh, the pecker back will cry, yay.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Oh.
anyhow. Compose thyself.
Deep breath, deep breath.
Jacob? Now we're Now her voice seemed breathless as she quivered when she said his name. Yeah. What the hell are you doing out here in the middle of Illinois?
Oh, God. I am looking for a place to commit the self-deletion.
Oh, thank God. Nobody goes to Illinois except for that anymore.
Oh,
Jeez.
Oh, sorry.
Before she could say anything, a tiny voice called to her from inside the vehicle. After one last frowning look at him, she hurried to the back passenger door and opened it. Jacob walked around the hood of the vehicle in time to see her leaning in, 1 foot off the ground as she handed something to a little girl sitting in a booster seat. Yeah, he frowned and walked closer, standing there behind her and looking down. Yep, there was the same perfect ass sticking up in the air. Yep. That's right there. Oh, he's very itched to reach out and run his hands over it. Oh yeah, caress their buttocks, you know, and say it's a good time.
Midwestern coitus.
Oh,
yes.
Midwestern
so
coitus.
sensual.
Yes,
Midwestern
very.
coitus goes on for hours because nobody wants to be the one to say goodbye for reals that time, you know. Well, goodbyes always take like 30 minutes. Midwestern sex is about the same way. Nobody wants to be the one to say goodbye.
Hey, baby, hey, you sure you don't want to mud wrestle with me?
We don't do mud wrestling so much as we just wrestle in corn.
As opposed to, I called you an Uber.
Anywho, I say he liked to pull up as I pulled her up to him, you know. Instead, he clenched his fist and spoke. Why didn't you have a baby?
9 months ago, after I saw, you.
Certain things happen after 9 months, you know, you dumb douchebag. Tessa slid out of the back seat and quickly closed the door. She didn't, as she stood toe to toe with them, her stubborn chin jutted up, her dark red hair falling away from her face and her eyes blazing. Hannah turned 3 2 weeks ago. Shoulders there stiffened as he leaned down and tried to see the child. It had been a little over 3 years since he'd left Colorado, and the pack had been his home, or his home and family. Left, more like run out of town and banned from the only people he knew and loved. Banned from being with his fated mate, and his wolf growled at that, and he pushed him back aside, or back again. His heart thumped wildly in his chest, and the implications of the next words he wanted to say. Mine? Tessa put her hands on her hips and jutted her chin out even more, if that was possible. Her eyebrows knitting together, she looked and gave him a hard look. Hannah's my daughter. He raised an eyebrow at that and was like, and where's her dad? Well, yeah, standing right there, dipshit. Jesus Christ. Do we want me to go ahead and spell it out for you? Oh,
do you need a mirror?
Yeah, I need a mirror, bud. Anywho. So he watched the sadness wash over her face. You heard her, take a deep breath, shuddering, that kind of thing. He's gone. I haven't seen him since before she was born. So back off, Bubba, and see if you can fix my Durango so we can get back on the road.
Ooh.
Yeah, you just got cold-shouldered there, buddy. Yeah,
cold shoulder. She just got kneed in the nuts.
Yeah.
She never answered the question, though.
She never did.
She didn't. What that means.
pretty sure that we can kind of figure out, we can, read between them there lines and all that there. But, just build some dramatic tension there. It's a good story, good rating so far. I'm liking it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm stuck in Midwestern mode. Let me go ahead and click add it.
I was fixing to say something about tension and Fargo really doesn't go that well together.
I had to turn that one off.
I don't have enough wood chippers here for that.
No,
mine's broken. I've got something jammed in it.
When the old splitter is, or when the old chipper's broke, the splitter does a good job of making those big pieces into smaller pieces. You know what I'm saying?
That's what bonfires are for.
Yeah, burn it. Just burn it.
Just don't throw the marshmallow children in there.
No, didn't get an opportunity to this year.
It's sort of like, we are Sparta, and you kick the marshmallow down. Every time he tells that story, I just keep picturing, we are Sparta. Just
kick the kid in the fire.
That poor kid.
I know.
Forever live in infamy.
Forever. Ever.
Yes. And ever.
Oh, let's see, Tessa. Tessa pushed open the door and led Hannah into the motel room she had just paid cash for. Hannah ran inside, pushing the door wider so she could follow her daughter inside, carrying their overnight bag, kicking the door closed behind them. Tessa was exhausted. Her shoulders felt like they were clear up to her ears, and her head hurt. Did wolves get headaches? It was either a headache or a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. You know what cures a headache? Some good.
That's right. That's exactly what cures a headache. Yeah.
I don't know why she hadn't figured that out yet.
Well, there's a child.
She did figure it out. That's why she has a kid.
Yes. At that moment, she would prefer the tumor over a headache. It would be a good excuse not to see Jacob again. Hannah crawled into the queen-size bed, sitting
dropped
in
a few quarters.
Magic hands.
Ew. The kid's in the room.
She doesn't know any better. She's just thinking, hey, Mom, this is a great ride. You put quarters in here and I can just ride around on the bed. It's like a magic carpet.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's a tumor. She could just poke herself in the eye and shit herself and forget who she was for 5 minutes.
Clearly she forgot who the daddy was.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Tessa gave her daughter an indulgent smile as she dropped the bag onto the floor with a loud thump. Pulling her phone out of her pocket, she checked to see if she'd gotten any calls, then laid it on the small writing desk opposite the bed before looking around the room. Thankfully, the room looked clean and quaint, with cream-colored curtains and dark brown carpeting to hide all the nasty stains. Blood and semen and all the nastiness. And the bed bugs. There's probably some bed bugs in there too. Sitting on the edge of the bed, she ran her hand over the handmade quilt. What hotel has a handmade quilt?
I don't know.
I like to say
The Bates Motel.
I like to stay at the Holiday Inn, but I prefer ones with bed bugs because I get hungry in the middle of the night.
We all need friends, right?
It saves me from getting out of bed.
Well, I got my own fork and chopsticks just in case, because if they're big enough, you just get chopsticks. If not, you sort of got to stab them with the fork before they get away.
You're never lonely with a good bed bug. Come on.
It's like riding a bike and you're hungry but don't want to stop and get hit in the face with a June bug or something.
Lorna she then closed her eyes and fell backward, laying an arm over her eyes. The bed dipped gently beside her before she felt her daughter's hand moving softly over her forehead. Smiling at Hannah's gently feathery touch, she opened her eyes. Mom, you okay? Oh, Mama's tired, sweet pea. That's all.
Oh, God.
Why am I suddenly having fucking deja vu?
My favorite voice for Volstorm. When I'm ready to get really randy with him, I just use this voice, and he loves it.
No, this is what sends Volstorm out of the room. Nope. I'll see you later.
To me like, oh, I need to go get some milk, honey. And I'm like, oh, you're such a sweetheart. And then he's gone for hours. I don't know why.
Days.
He's milking something, but it ain't me.
She does that voice anytime you want me to take over.
Okay, Schooner.
Schooner.
The pounding behind her eyes made the statement a lie, but her daughter didn't need to know that. Truth be told, she was tired, hungry, and confused, which combined made for one big old headache. When Jacob shined the flashlight on his face, her knees had gone weak, and her wolf had gone crazy.
She started getting all wet, creamy, and
all
stuff.
excited.
And
She started humping the chair.
She got so moist in places she shouldn't be.
Yeah, prepping for
You probably just need to go to a park and pee.
You probably just do need to go to a park and pee because you gotta go. You gotta go.
You gotta go.
You gotta go. In a rush of emotions. In a rush of emotions, every memory and feeling she had worked 3 years to get over hit her all at once. His eyes were still the dark brown they'd always been, and his lips full and inviting. When he'd frowned at her, he still had that little crease between his eyes that she used to tease him about. Tessa couldn't remember a day in her life that Jacob hadn't been there. The two of them, along with her cousin Sean, had grown up together and had been all of best friends. Then one day, when they were 17, and Sean wasn't with them, they went from being best friends to realizing they were fated mates.
Ooh.
No.
Jacob had stolen a kiss from her, and something seemed to suddenly shift in both of them. It wasn't just their wolves. Fate had taken over. A year later, on a warm, sunny spring day, they mated. All they would need to do was stand before their pack in the sacred circle and recite the words that would bind them both together forever. Her father, on the other hand, was less than amused by their mating, saying they were far too young. He would not give his consent for them to take the final step until she was older. Tessa felt a weight on, not a wiggle. I'm so sorry.
I mean,
Stop wiggling there.
You're in the wrong room.
Felt a little something. Oh,
yeah.
I missed
with
her.
a
The
weight.
wiggling came later.
The wiggling came a little bit later. Tessa felt a weight on her chest as if someone had stacked bricks on top of her. She wasn't into that kink, but some people were. This was all before Sean's dad had died.
Hey, that's going a little too far even for me.
That's
You
saying
can
something.
start stacking rocks on me and shit. I'm thinking we're at witch trials or something. What the fuck? I'm sorry. It's my name, Giles.
He's a witch.
Is it witch?
More weight.
Bella?
I get that joke.
Right? Poor bastard.
Oh, she floats. Witches are made of wood. If she floats, she's a witch.
She's a witch.
We shall commence the witch trials upon a fortnight.
That's a fair call.
Oh my.
Did you say foreskin or Fortnite?
Oh,
Upon a fortnight. But you
Oh,
can
okay.
play with my foreskin till then. Whatever floats your boat. Oh, she floats! Whatever floats your boat. See,
Or
she
like
floats.
She's a witch.
Why don't you float?
Fortnite. There we go.
Oh my.
I can't
Whatever
promise
floats
it'll
your
save
boat.
your soul or keep you from the burn pyre, but
That sounds like my cup of tea. There we
we can
go.
play a little.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
How'd you get that video of Yamaha?
Now, huh?
Stop it. Get some help.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, so good.
That was all before Sean's dad had died. The elders had asked if anyone wanted to challenge Sean as the alpha. According to pack law and ritual, he couldn't take the role of alpha. He couldn't just take it. He had to fight for it. No one stepped forward. That was until Jacob, without even telling her, declared his intentions at a pack gathering. Tessa had begged Jacob to reconsider. They all knew the consequences of losing a challenge for Alpha. No matter the outcome, she would be the one to lose. But he pushed forward with his plan. And when he lost and was banished, it had taken her father, Sean, and a couple of pack enforcers to stop her from running after him. And I'm done. I'm spent.
Spent.
Yeah.
So spent.
What? Is it me? Are we
it's
taking?
you. You
Yeah,
were
Yeah,
right
Mystery
there.
Voice
Yeah.
Commander. He does not, or
Yes.
Mystery Voice Commander, commentator.
Commander, I love it. She's calling you
Basically,
Commander.
yes.
Awesome.
Voice Commander.
You know you're up in the world, man.
It's kind
You
of like
are-
this. Every voice that I would try to do would all have a cold. So
Call
All
him.
right. All right.
Sir
All right. All
Pencil.
right. So where do we stop at the very top?
yes.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
there. Yes. Get on top.
The best. Anyway, don't stop it now. I'm trying to read now. Hold on.
Don't you know where you are? Come on.
I mean, you're on top.
Not half the time now. Come on.
You just slide down easy and be at the bottom of it before you know it.
If you are directionally aware during the whole thing, then you ain't doing something wrong or right. I mean, so
No, you said
Oh, I'm
right the first time.
directionally aware. You just keep struggling.
Just start from the top and work your way down. You know how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just slide on down. You
I
got
like
it.
it when they
girl.
sit on top and struggle.
y'all are bad influences. Just coming
That's
on
right.
here trying to
Get feisty.
trying to read a book here, and y'all are just like endangering my soul. My
Look, your soul was
goodness.
in danger the moment you accepted that request.
Exactly.
No shit.
The moment I said, "Hey, you want to join? It's fun."
My goodness. Come on now.
Yep, Jesus was like, no.
Not so much. Not so
Closing
much.
my eyes
Not
for this
recommend.
No, keep your eyes open. I love the look of fear.
There's a kink for that, but so
Yeah, he's well aware.
okay. This is a great.
You got her.
God bless you, Gunner.
Oh, we'll drink a
not
drink of
prepared
water
for
here,
that.
guys. I'm trying to. All right,
Trying to get it wet again.
Oh,
it's
my own
always
fountain.
wet. Anyway,
She's the one that drank the water.
Want to drink water, man? Why are you gonna do this with her?
damn it, man. I'm like,
Flooding in Tennessee. I didn't realize. Sorry.
gotta part the sea there.
The
Tessa
rainbow.
hadn't seen Jacob again. And she'd slid into a deep depression. Unable to look at her father, or at times to even be in the same house with him. Sean had tried to get her, but she refused to see him. She'd gone sick and her depression had deepened. After 4 more days of being able to keep nothing down, her mother forced her to the pack doctor, who declared that she was going to have a pup of her own. Tessa had finally reached out to Sean, and they'd picked up where they had left off. Later, the two had brought Hannah into the world and raised her together until now.
Mom, I'm hungry.
Tessa smiled at her and sat up. Okay, sweet pea, let's walk over to the little diner across the street. Then we'll come back and sleep a little bit. Hannah nodded and slid off the bed as Tessa stood. Slipping her tiny hand into Tessa's, she tugged on her mother's arm.
Will you be sleeping too?
Tessa nodded and she led her daughter outside, the door closing and locking behind them. You can bet I will be. I'm almost as tired as I am hungry. Mother and daughter hurried across the street to the diner, finding a booth to sit in. The waitress put a piece of paper with images for Hannah to color and some crayons, and Tessa smiled her thanks. Handing Hannah a couple of crayons, Tessa looked around, catching several people glancing over and then talking in low, hushed tones to each other.
Well, that's because they were Marines, and they were very jealous of her crayons.
Her crayons.
I just got that.
Like, those are blue. Don't give her the blue or the red. Damn it.
That's not fair.
Crayon.
That's the other way I eat my greens.
The waitress came back, bringing a cup of coffee and a glass of milk, then took their orders. Once she left, Tessa did her best to distract her daughter. She didn't want Hannah to know that people were staring and talking about them. Tessa didn't blame them. They were strangers, after all. Loud knocking on the hotel room door brought Tessa out of a deep, troubled sleep. She'd been dreaming that Jacob had discovered Hannah was his daughter and had taken her away. She chased them, never quite catching up to them. She looked at her phone, then at her daughter sleeping like an angel, and covered her with blankets she'd kicked away in her sleep. Tessa got up and was yawning when she opened the door to find Jacob standing there in loose, greasy jeans and a tight-fitting T-shirt that had her heart stopping and her breath hitching. Ooh.
Her breath or her breasts?
Well, probably both.
Okay.
Just a little nipply in here.
Yeah.
It wasn't until her heart slammed into her chest and that she took a breath and looked up at him. God, that man was sexy even when he was dirty. So dirty.
Women like it dirty. Just saying.
Dirty boy. Maybe especially when he was dirty. Oh, yeah. Hey,
no comment.
Sleep hung heavily in her voice. Jacob grinned at her. A heat creeped into her cheeks as she smoothed her tangled mess of hair down, even though she knew it wouldn't help. Hey, you guys got some sleep, good. Is my Durango fixed? Jacob let out a breath in his hand and put his hand in his back pocket. Well, about that, I can't get parts for it for a couple of days. Also, he pulled his hand out of his back pocket and pulled out a piece of paper, holding it out to her. When I ordered them parts and used the credit card information you gave me, it was declined. You broke-ass bitch. Tessa frowned and took a piece of paper he held out to her. Declined? They couldn't have. She turned from the door and went to the desk to get her cell phone. Finding the number to her parents' attorney, she called it and waited as it rang several times. The voicemail answered. Mr. Charles, it's Tessa Cafferty. I just tried to use my credit card that's connected to the account we set up, and it was declined. Please call me back as soon as you can. My Durango broke down, and I need to pay for parts and labor. Thanks. Tessa ended the call and slipped her phone into her back pocket, turning to Jacob, feeling embarrassed. There's no reason why it should have been declined. Can I pay you
That's all
another
right, baby.
way?
We can work something out.
We
Saying.
can work on a payment plan. Don't worry.
I've seen that movie several times.
Okay, it's a good one. It's
You've
a
been the
classic.
star of that movie several times.
Sounds like it has a good plot.
It always comes to a good end.
I have some pudding pops at my house.
Someone say it's a happy ending.
He's saying I have some pudding pops at my house and a dryer.
I am feeling a little hot. Pudding pop might be just what I need.
It might just cool you off just
Cool me down
enough.
just a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But seriously, it's going to be like $10.50 for that pizza.
Hey, Valhalla, what's up, brother? Oh my gosh.
Some heat. Heat crept into her cheeks when she saw that Jacob watched her closely as he leaned against the door frame.
Oh.
Well, I covered the parts, and as I said, they'll be here in a couple of days. Do you have enough cash to stay here for another 3 or 4 days? What do you got? Tessa looked at him wide-eyed, not answering him for a moment. She only had another $100 in cash, and that wouldn't cover the hotel room that long. Jacob straightened and started to reach into his back pocket, and she raised a hand. No, I can't take your money. I'll figure something out.
Yeah, you charge by the hour. Got a hotel room? Just get an extra room. Put the daughter over there. Give her a few quarters. She'll entertain herself.
Jacob's eyebrows shot up and he crossed his arms, looking down at her. She felt her cheeks warm at his look and tucked her tangled mess of curls behind her ear, her chin jutting up defiantly.
Again, which cheeks?
That's what I'm wondering. Because her cheeks are getting flushed quite a bit.
Her cheeks need to be clapped. So,
yes!
There we go.
Wow.
There we go.
A+.
I get it, Jacob.
Yes.
I'm not taking money from you. She was cut off by the ringing of her phone, and she quickly fished it out of her pocket. Turning her back on him as she answered, Mr. Charles, thank you for calling me back so quickly. Of course, Miss Cafferty. I took a few minutes to make some calls about the credit card. Are you traveling? Tessa frowned and glanced at Hannah a moment. I am.
No, I am a traveler. The total sob sit there. Yes, the
total sob, man.
I'm a traveler on the land.
Tessa frowned and glanced at Hannah a moment. I am. I'm traveling to Maine to see if it might be a good place to live with Hannah. Wow. I see. I wish you would have told me, but of course neither of us could have known it would be an issue. She looked at Jacob over her shoulder, then turned away from his concerned look. What issue? It seems that the system recognized that there were purchases made outside of normal purchasing area and automatically locked down the account. My account is frozen? It's frozen because the computer didn't recognize where I was spending money? It was hard to keep her voice and panic down so she wouldn't wake her daughter. Mr. Charles, I'm stuck in a town in the middle of Illinois. My Durango broke down, and I need those funds to pay for repairs and a hotel until it's fixed and food for my daughter. I understand, Miss Cafferty, and I wish there was something I could do. The earliest that I can contact a live person is Tuesday. Monday is a bank holiday. The rug wasn't being pulled out from under her. The whole damn floor was breaking apart under her feet, and she had nothing to hang on to. Her throat tightened as
That's how we like it. Get it tight.
Nice.
My God.
Jeez.
Damn it. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Please let me know if you hear anything sooner. Tessa disconnected the call and just stared at the phone a moment. Then her eyes closed as a tear fell down her cheek, shaking her head. She set her phone on the desk and lifted her head to look at the ceiling. Don't you think you've thrown enough at me, God? Don't you think I deserve to start a new life and be happy? She knew not to ask that question, but she didn't know what else to do.
I reckon.
Yeah.
That's what you call the North American cock gobbler.
I've seen it, I swear.
Gotta make money somehow.
I'm going to choke on that one for a while.
It wouldn't be the first time.
I'm just here to speak on behalf of nature. Unless you forget about
Richard
the cock
Richard
gobbler.
Attenborough voice. Like,
Yeah.
we
Oh, that would be so funny if I could do that. Well, there's only two voices right now that I can think of that might work. So, all right, chat. What is? All right, whomever this is. All right. Jacob stepped into the motel room, shutting the door behind him when Tessa turned her back on him to take a phone call. He should have been the gentleman, respected her privacy, shut the door, and waited for her to let him back in. But he wasn't a gentleman by any means.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And to hell with privacy. He likes it in public. We wanted to.
Voyeurism, all right.
There's no hiding
drowned
that.
in my water.
There's no hiding that light.
I can put it away, but there ain't no hiding the packages that I carry around with me. Just saying.
That's right.
The cannon's always loaded, if you know it.
No bushels around here to hide it under.
That's right.
He wanted to know what was going on. He looked at the bed and studied the little girl wrapped up in a blanket, hugging a stuffed black wolf to her chest. She had her mother's wild curly hair, but this is making me uncomfortable. But instead of red, it was a dark brown. When he'd seen her last night, his heart stopped, and his thoughts had gone wild with possibilities. Was she his? He'd wanted to get a good look at her face, but Tessa stepped between them, had become the fierce, protective mother wolf, and had shut the door so light. Wait a minute. Oh, so the light turned off inside. After he dropped them off at the motel, then towed their vehicle to his shop, he'd gone home and tried to get a few more hours of sleep. All he ended up doing was lying in the dark, thinking about Tessa, and wondering what twist of fate had brought Tessa Cassidy back into his life.
Little tugboat.
And then apparently watched movies about pizza delivery men and women that couldn't pay for them.
And tow truck drivers.
Tow truck drivers. Just guilty.
Baby.
So
Don't
dirty.
worry, I know how to pick that lock.
So dirty.
Memories of the two of them and what they had had together still haunted him, even after 3 years. It took almost a year for him to stop thinking of Tessa every minute of every damn day.
Well, damn, she did that thing.
She knew how to do that
With their
thing.
tongue.
Yeah. Twist,
It's a
little block, twist and lock. Yeah,
It's a 1 in a million right there. You never forget that cock gobbler.
You gotta warn me before you do these things.
I know.
There's the Georgia Gray, and then there's the Great American Cock Gobbler, the rarest bird of them all. He left his home and the packland so fast that the two of them hadn't been able to say goodbye. Well, usually I'm not worried about that. There had been no time for him to beg her to come with him and promise her that the dreams that they could, they could still come true. No pack enforcers escorted him home, so he could pack his things. She'd tried to sneak out once, but the damn wolves were all around his house. Caught him immediately. His heart hurt so bad that he could barely sit straight on his bike with no seat. Then he drove away.
I was going to say, maybe it's not your heart that's hurting if you've been surrounded by a bunch of wolves. Just saying.
I need to get out of here, but my asshole's on fire.
I got to go get some lube.
Where's B Diddy at? We need more baby oil around here.
He done stole the whole damn thing out the Costco.
I'm trying to condition my seat. So
This saddle soap ain't working.
My God, what happened? It looks like the Exxon Valdez app is like, is snapped open and oh no.
I just was over at Diddy's house hanging out.
Just over at Diddy's house.
She's getting all bubbly.
Normal.
Tessa disconnected her call and turned to look at Jacob. Her face was flush and tears lingered on her lashes. It about killed him. All he wanted to do was pull her into his arms and kiss her. Tell her everything would be okay.
Come on, little wolf. Get your stuff together. I can't fix the bank issue, but I can help lessen the burden. That's a good girl. Down on your knees.
Good girl.
Instead of
What?
Well, if I can't have Hermione.
Instead of kissing her, he reached out to brush the tears away.
We tried Friday night.
I know. But she stepped back from him. What do you mean? Wait a minute. Is this him?
Yes.
Can we hear the good girl one more time?
You good girl. I like the way you played fountain while run. I have a big house with several empty bedrooms. It's called Hogwarts upstairs, but I never use it. There's even a master suite of sorts that connects with a smaller bedroom by a bathroom, so I can keep an eye on you. You can keep the doors open and near Hannah if she needs you, and stay out of my way at the same time.
His lips twitched at that, then disappeared when she shook her head so hard. Her curls whipped around her face and stepped farther back and gave her a donkey punch. After 5 minutes, the stars were brilliant.
Aurora Borealis.
I can't stay with you, she squealed. Jacob sighed and walked over to the things she had laid out for both her and Hannah and showed them into the and shoved them like someone's boyfriend into an overnight bag. Only there was less of a struggle. Tessa hurried over.
I can't even drink my water on this show.
But this is Hogwarts, so they're magical clothing.
Let me out, Sarah!
And zipped the bag up, but not before he spotted the dark red thong. That's a naughty turkey. And bra laying on top of everything.
Oh, she had to make money.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
He almost growled out loud. That would haunt him the rest of the day. Okay. We are not staying with you. I don't even know you anymore. You're a stranger, and I'm not subjecting Hannah to someone I barely know. A dark look crept over his face, and he took a menacing step forward.
Are you saying I'd hurt the child? She's no Hermione. I'd hurt your daughter? No, I think not. I have no power here at Hogwarts. No, wait a minute. No, I'm a professor. Never mind. I could fuck you up.
Tessa swallowed.
I think that's kind of the
Right off the
goal
bat.
there.
She's so scared of him, but she swallows. Tessa swallowed.
Oh, we know she's not a
girl.
Not a spitter. Not a spitter.
That kind of hurts a little. He could see the vein in her neck pulsing and could smell a hint of fear. It's better when they're scared. Raising his head slightly, he breathed in before another smile tugged at his lips. He could also smell her desire. That was his. He had done that to her.
Multiple times.
You're so many.
No, of course not, Jacob. Her gaping maw. As if she was about to say something else. Her gaping maw. You know, the noise she makes from. Then closed it as she shook her head. No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm thinking. I'm not thinking clearly at the moment. I'm not thinking clearly at the moment either. Glad to hear that you don't think I would do that. He walked past. Just ask Mr. Takogi. Wait a minute. Never mind.
He's dead.
He won't be joining us for the rest of his life. Passed her and picked up the bag. What? Is this him? I
Yes,
keep track.
it's him. It's him.
Now, this is a small town in the middle of nowhere, USA. We have 2 motels, one by the hour. And this is the better of the 2. There are no bed and breakfasts or anything like that. Once you reach 11 a.m. tomorrow, you will have to be out on the street with your little girl. I'm trying to help you avoid that.
Here he is.
Jacob walked to the door, then turned back to her. He nearly laughed at her as she stood there watching him.
Grab Hannah. It's still early in the day. Enough time to run by the shop. Get the rest of your things. Then you get back to my place. The 2 of you can be settled, and I'll get back to work while the 2 of you get a little more sleep. You look like you're about to fall back to sleep standing here.
Oh, it might be the button pops.
She's got a lot of work ahead of her.
Yes.
Well.
Magicus nakedness.
Jacob closed the hood
of the car.
He slammed that back door. Oh no, that's the front door. He just finished working on it.
Poker in the rear.
No, he didn't slam the trunk. It was the hood. It was the front.
The hood.
Front hole.
Wiped his hands on his multi-use rag, which didn't really leave them clean. Then walked to his office, dropping into the dirty leather chair behind his desk. He let out a tired breath. He'd been working hard for the last 3 hours on that rear end of the car. But he couldn't take his mind off the mama wolf and her pup sleeping upstairs at his house. He kept picturing her.
Wearing that red bra and thong. He touched her in ways he'd used to.
At one time, she had been a thin little sprite who he loved and wanted more than he wanted to breathe. No, this time, he saw the curves of the woman she had become.
Yeah.
And all he wanted was to run his hands over
And there
her
was
every curve.
And there was a stir in the force, baby.
Oh, yeah.
There was a stir in the force.
I want to read that like a road map.
Yeah. Suddenly, that tailpipe just wouldn't cut it anymore. Jacob scrubbed a hand. He scrubbed a hand over it. Jacob scrubbed a hand over his face. He'd been around her less than 24 hours, and already he wasn't sure he'd be able to keep his hands or his fantasies to himself. Looking at the clock, he spit on his... he spit out a few profanities. When he hocked to it, that thing, and spit out a few profanities when he saw how late it was. Standing, Jacob, well, you got to be careful because you can always pass out from, and then you just
blood to the head. Maybe you do as much damage to yourself as you did to other things.
Standing, Jacob went through the shop, closing everything down, then got his bike. As he turned onto the road, heading toward his place, he hoped he could handle Yeah, he hoped he could handle an evening with Tessa, with this sudden overwhelming need to claim her. Then a thought occurred to him. There would be no way that Tessa could hide the little girl from him now. He would get her to see... Wait a minute. He would get to see her, talk to her, and perhaps figure out if the little girl was his. Who's your daddy? The sun was just starting to set
Me, bitch.
when he pulled into his driveway and into his garage. The smell of propane wafting in from the backyard was enough to make Jacob's stomach rumble from hunger. Swinging his leg over the bike, he walked to the door that led to the backyard and stopped. Tessa chasing her daughter around his backyard while Hannah's laughter mixed with Doherty came from unseen... Wait a minute.
Daughtry.
Daughtry coming from unseen radio. And unseen... These... whatever. When Tessa caught Hannah and swung up the giggling toddler into her arms, mother and daughter throwing their heads back with laughter, Jacob's legs nearly stopped, holding his big frame. He put his hands against the door to hold himself steady, but his eyes never left the two. His throat tightened and his vision blurred as the long-forgotten sadness filled him. They'd been robbed of all their dreams, of a life like this. He and Tessa had talked long into the night about their life they would have, the children that would fill their home, the grandchildren that came after. Well, that's usually how it works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacob. It took him a moment to register that Tessa was talking to him. He shook his head to clear away the sadness and the stars from the donkey punch earlier, and looked at Teresa holding Hannah. It was then he saw it. The resemblance was uncanny, with the same dark eyes, the way one side of Hannah's mouth lifted first before she gave him a full smile. Jacob pulled his eyes away from his daughter and looked at Tessa.
I'm sorry. I was dreaming of Hermione again. What?
Tessa frowned and shifted Hannah in her arms before she spoke again. I said welcome home and asked if the steaks were okay because I had already set some out and started the grill.
Yes.
He nodded his head and looked at Hannah again. Tessa looked between Jacob and Hannah, then nodded toward Jacob. Hannah, this is Mommy's friend and one of your uncles. And one of your uncle's friends. And he's also a friend of Uncle Sean. See, right there. This chick's a hoe. Everybody's her uncle.
Did this take place in
uncle.
Alabama?
Our family tree, dear. Well, it just looks like a fence post. I'm sorry to tell you. Jacob, excuse me, just like... yeah, I told you, I just can't really do any other voices. Jacob frowned at the mention of Sean, then watched when Hannah laid her head on Tessa's shoulder, her eyes never leaving Jacob. He gave her a warm smile and nodded.
Hi, Hannah. Oh, hello. I like hello better. It sounds more appropriate.
Hannah wiggled in Tessa's arms until she set the little girl down. She's not met many people she doesn't know. Well, no shit. If she doesn't know him, then how could she know? Whatever.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
This chick is a hoe and dumb. Once she gets to know you, she'll never stop talking. I'm going to have to look back through chat. I'm sure people think I just sounded completely retarded. Tessa crouched down.
Nah, you're good.
The little girl.
Okay.
It's okay. You're in good company.
Sweetie, why don't you go find your wolf and get the pink sweater I set on your bed? It's getting chilly. Hannah nodded again, her eyes never leaving Jacob until she finally turned and ran into the house as fast as her little legs would carry her.
Not fast enough.
Run, little girl. It makes it more exciting. I'm hungry.
When Tessa When Tessa straightened, she would... Wait a minute, I'm getting lost here. When Tessa straightened, she wouldn't meet his eyes at first. But he didn't move. He just stood there watching as she chewed on her bottom lip and toenails and looked at the door Hannah had run through, leaving a perfect outline of her little body. He wanted
Like a
to
cartoon.
be... I gotta get the fuck away from this guy. He's creeping me out. He wanted to be the one to chew her toenails. That lip. Nipple at her neck. Run his hands over her smooth skin.
Did you say nipple? Nipple?
Oh my, it's getting nipply out here.
Freudians are just compounding.
When the holidays at the stores weren't any
Freud's
hooter,
just
hotter
dancing
than
around
they
in my
already
head
are.
tonight. When she turned, he gave her a long, steady look before he spoke.
I'm going to take a shower, and when I get back, your shampoo bottles won't be empty anymore. Perhaps you'd like... You'd like to... I can't do this when you make me laugh. It just sounds weird. Perhaps you'd like to explain why you lied to me.
Tessa's frown deepened. How did I lie to you? His eyebrows shot up. Then he tucked himself. Oh, no, tucked his chin. Then he tucked his chin. No, he wasn't playing Silence of the Lambs. His dark eyes never leaving her, because I dance in front of a mirror and sing to myself all the time. I'd fudge my way.
You got the robe and everything.
Lotion of the basket.
That's true, yeah.
It puts the lotion on its skin. You lied when you told me Hannah wasn't my daughter. You lied.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hermione, I always knew it was you. Would you like to go fishing in a little boat out on a pond?
A little boat. He's a special kind of one.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to drink some water.
I'm a man.
Chapter 5. Tessa tucked Hannah into bed. She was asleep in minutes without even the two of them reading the Beatrix Potter series. The world of Peter Rabbit. Tessa sat there a moment, tucking the blanket around her daughter, watching her sleep. Yes, sleep, sleep, little one. She was putting off going back downstairs, putting Hannah to bed. Wasn't the out she needed to get away from Jacob, hopefully putting an end to their evening. Not that she didn't want to get down there and get all frisky. Maybe when she headed back down to clean up, she would find him gone in his own house, or possibly in bed where she could be alone with him once at last. Fat chance, Tessa thought. Might want to get on that Ozempic. Tessa thought as she quickly left Hannah's room. She knew Jacob, or at least she'd known him, and she didn't imagine he had changed that much in 3 years. Not only hadn't he left or gone to bed, she knew he was up, waiting for her to come down. He wouldn't probably come up to look for her if she didn't go down.
Oh, dear.
Perhaps she could handle herself. I doubt it. She knows her way around the bedroom. Yes, she might not be the whole hand job. Truth. But she would not be bullied into anything, and Jacob could be a big bully at times. Taking a deep breath, Tessa headed downstairs, glancing around the empty living room. They moved to the empty kitchen. Perhaps she was wrong. Maybe Jacob had gone to bed. Maybe he's all naked, laying there all lathered up and all that kind of stuff. Better, maybe he'd gone out with the boys. Tessa frowned. Well, did he have any boys to go out with? She sighed as she went to the sink and opened the dishwasher and climbed inside and said, I'm stuck! I'm stuck!
Help me! Help me!
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Well, there had been a time when she knew everything about Jacob and could even predict what he was thinking. Well, that's because whenever you're showing the breastages, you know exactly what he's thinking. Babes, babes, babes.
Boobs.
Jake, there had also been a time that she was the focus of his entire world, and he had been hers, even after he was banished, spanked. She knew he'd figure a way to get back to her and take her away with him. He hadn't come, and after she'd cried all the tears she could, she hated him for not coming because she liked it when he came multiple times.
Everybody
That was
wants a
until
good
she had
grandpa.
realized she was pregnant, and then she didn't want him to come no more. She's like, stop coming. You came too much. How could she hate him when he had left the most beautiful gift anyone could give her, all over her face, chest, deep inside her, all over the place? Tessa and Sean had searched for him, but had come up with nothing. So she had given birth to his daughter, named her after his mother, then raised her with the help of Sean and her godfather, and had tried to give their daughter the life she thought he would want her to have. 3 squares, put her to bed on time. She had finally given up on ever finding him after 3 years and tried to shut down every emotion she had for him, but she couldn't. She just got all wet and creamy the first time she saw him. She was just like, faded.
Every time.
Else in mind for all of them. Well, Tessa, she shook those thoughts out of her head as she climbed into that dishwasher, and then she finished cleaning the kitchen. Damn right, woman. I hope you barefoot. There was a lot of food left that she had to put into the fridge as she went. Damn, I'm stuck in the fridge too. Tessa had been too nervous and too tense to eat, so she climbed in the dryer. Help me, help me. They had kept the conversation light, listening to Hannah talk about everything she had seen today. She didn't see none of this stuff coming, did she? After dinner, Tessa had taken her daughter upstairs and locked the door and said, you stay here and don't you come out even if you hear screaming. She looked around the kitchen, finally satisfied she put everything away except for her clothes. Glancing at the clock, it was about 8 o'clock, but there was still no Jacob. Well, good. Perhaps she would go up to her bedroom. She'd take a bath and maybe get stuck in the dryer again. In the beautiful clawfoot tub. You know how tasty that clawfoot club would be, that clawfoot tub would be? Oh, it would be so smooth. She'd get her Calgon on. She was still feeling deep sleep provide, and hopefully she'd have good news tomorrow. Like, I got some tonight. Tessa started to turn off the kitchen light when she heard something in the garage. Well, she stared at the back door a moment. She started chewing on her lip, trying to decide if she could go see what it was. And, well, she shook her head and she headed out. Well, now, what if someone was trying to steal something while Jacob was gone and she did nothing about it? The garage door that led to the backyard was open and the light was on. She was halfway into the garage when she heard Jacob's voice. She stopped. Then she turned around. If she hurried, she could get back inside and up to her room naked and be laid out before he knew she was out there, because that's where she really wanted to be. When she was almost to his back door, her back door, the back door, when she heard his deep chuckle, and when she turned around, gave him a sly little smile and said, you like the back door? He just stood there against the door frame in a pair of tattered jeans that hung loosely on his hip. He wasn't wearing no shirt. Oh, my girl. It was all abs and nipples, and she was just, she went instantly to his chest, the memory of those days she licked and kissed every inch of it. And she said, chicken! What?
Sorry, you said chicken.
It was not turkey. It's not turkey.
Not turkey. No.
His voice had her looking up at him. Well, heat was creeping into those cheeks, and she hadn't even turned around. What? Tessa wasn't sure she had heard him correctly, since she hadn't really been paying attention. She was just thinking about them damn labs.
Labs.
Jacob, he pushed away from the door, sticking the rag he had in his hands into his back pocket because it was filled already to the brim. He walked towards her. I called you a chicken. Did you think we wouldn't continue the conversation about lying to me about Hannah? Well, that little chin of hers jutted up, her lips puckered, and he was like, just like I remember. Then she crossed her arms, and anger started to fill her because she was getting ready to get filled. How did I lie, Jacob? He grinned, shook his little head as he stepped in front of her. Tessa had to look up at him since she was barefoot, not pregnant anymore. And it was coming over him. Oh, it washed over him. Ooh, the scent of grease mixed in with this natural musky pound scent invaded her senses completely. She was lost in the smell of manliness. I asked you if she was mine, and I told me no. And all it had taken was one good long look in her eyes and her face, and I knew she was mine. She had my eyes, my looks, my mother. She has my mother's name. What you doing, woman? Well, their gaze locked, and Tess looked away. She stepped back from one step. Jacob reached out, grabbed her, his hand gripping her chin, forcing her to look at him. She said, tell me the truth, Tessa. I know it, but I need to hear you say it, woman. Well, Jacob's grip on her chin prevented her from looking away or even moving away from him. Not that she wanted to. She was wanting to grab them abs, grab them nipples. She wanted to climb up and ride him like a wild donkey. So she straightened her shoulders, and well, fire was flashing in her eyes. She gritted her teeth as she spoke. She said, let go of me, Jacob. She tried to jerk her head free, but she failed. Not until Tessa punched Jacob, catching him off guard. Woman, what you doing? That left her free to punch him again. Damn it, what you hit me for? This time in the jaw. Oh, woman, I'm gonna make you pay for that. Making him stumble back enough that she turned to hurry in the house. We ain't playing no hide and seek in no damn suitcase tonight, woman. Well, Tessa's one thought was to get her daughter and lock the door to her bedroom, staying there until she could call her lawyer in the morning. She's going to get her money. You know, she's going to get some of that money from him. She's going to say, hey, you know, this would be your daughter, but you're going to be paying child support. And then get the hell out of town. Well, these two strongs arms, they banded around her and pulled her back against Jacob's hard body. Well, she is struggling until she just thought, well, this just feels good. As he's tightened his hold on her. His warm breath was brushing through her hair as he spoke in her ear. Woman, what you wrong to, little world? Why you fighting? Just say the words, I'll let you go. You can go run up and protect Hannah from the big bad wolf. You know it,
that
girl.
could have been so sexy, Shizzy. That could have been so freaking
Who's
hot.
that I see walking through these woods?
Nothing broader than a snuggle struggle.
Yeah.
What you climb up here? We're going to do something really hot. Well, electricity was prickling at her skin. It was going down her spine at the feel of his warm voice on that cool skin. All that anger left her. She started melting right there in her boots when he called her little wolf, and that deep, sexy voice of his. Tessa shivered. Even as warmth washed all over her, getting all creamy and juicy inside, closing her eyes. She was aware of his body against hers, how they molded together perfectly, how it felt just to have his arms around her, even if it wasn't anger.
Yes, hate sex.
Oh, yes.
Liquid heat, right. It was rushing through her, pooling between her legs. The need to feel his hands and mouth on her like he'd done before their entire world had disintegrated around them was almost overwhelming.
Oh, bite that lip. Bite that lip. Oh, sorry.
Her voice was a horse's plea because she wanted the donkey, but he didn't think he heard her until he whispered in the ear.
Let me ride that pony, pony. Let me ride that pony.
Take it to the way up.
Tessa closed her eyes, laying her head back against his chest. Yes, Jacob, Hannah is yours. Well, that word, those hung in between them, and to Tessa, it felt as if the entire world had stopped. Neither one of them breathing. The temperature felt as if it dropped several degrees, and she actually shivered as the cool air hit her heated skin when he stepped away from her. Turning around, she saw the look of shock and disbelief on his face. He scrubbed a hand down that sexy little stubble jaw of his, and his eyes bore into her. Her chest tightened, but that wasn't all. At the look he was giving her, the 3 years of pain and suppressed feelings flashed over his features. Did you know? Tessa shook her head, and her eyes filled with tears. No, I didn't find out for over a month after you left. I thought it was depression, and her voice hitched just like her legs. Heartbreak. A tear slowly slid down her tender cheek before she continued. I waited for weeks for you to sneak back and just take me away with you. He closed his eyes at that, dropping his head in a moment before closing them again. Anguish, regret, reflecting in them. Oh, it's okay, Jacob. I know that you couldn't. Sean had told me that the packing force was watching me in your place carefully for almost 6 months after they banished you. Jacob nodded, stepped closer to her.
They sure did.
He was reaching out to her. Her breath hitched. She closed the distance, stepping into his arms, purling her against his hard, sexy chest. He buried his face in her hair as her tears started. She started sobbing and weeping and crying. Oh, she was getting wetter and wetter. They had all been robbed of so much. Hannah had been robbed of a family, and she and Jacob had been robbed of their love.
Yes.
So much love. I gotta go grab a tissue. Your turn, Kaiser.
Pass it again. All right. All right.
He's like, damn
it.
Much like a kidney stone.
It
has to work its way out. Sometimes you need radio frequency, but, well, that's just a fun bath.
Look, y'all. We know what's coming. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah, bring it.
Again.
We know that this is going to be a thing. So
let's just do it.
Just do it.
That's right.
Why don't you just lean back and let it happen?
That's right. Whatever it takes to convince you. Gutters is going to need another towel.
Come on, Elmo.
Daddy Elmo.
I'm gonna need a couple of towels when I get there.
Read it to me, rug boy.
We're just waiting in anticipation.
Something or other, anyway. Okay, let me just.
I'm going to turn you into a fountain again. Well, if nothing else, at the end of the day, at the very last moments of my life, I can say that I made a woman squirt. You drank the water.
Yeah, don't drink the water in Mexico. That really does make me squirt.
I think I'm funnier when I'm sick and high on NyQuil, whatever it is. I don't know.
You mixed up the formulas again.
Now's your chance. My inhibitions are gone.
Like they
What inhibitions?
What inhibitions?
I just say that to make it sound easier.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't need no inhibitions. Come on, it's all right.
It's easier to swallow that way. I mean, well, you know, it comes out. It gets worse either way.
Oh. Well.
Ooh, that's for you, young.
I didn't know that turkey gets lied so much. Ooh.
The turkey's lonely.
My.
Yes.
Come on, Elmo.
Turkeys need
I was just waiting for all y'all to go to finish whatever
Come
you
on,
talking
come
about.
on, come on.
Okay, we'll stop.
Okay, let's go. That's all right. Tessa lifted her head for Jacob's test. When she felt him straighten and looked up at him, her eyes swimming in tears. That's the way I like it. In that one moment, there was just two of them. The world around them ceased to exist, leaving only the memories of what had once been between them. Tessa's eyes dropped to his lips, remembering every single kiss they had shared, and her lips parted, her tongue darting out to run along her bottom lip. A low growl rumbled from Jacob's chest, and her eyes moved back to his. Before she knew what was happening, Jacob kissed her. His lips pressed against hers, his tongue licking across her bottom lip until she opened for him.
I know. Yeah.
The tongues brushed against each other in a slow, familiar dance that was both tentative and teasing.
Yes.
He moaned softly as his hands pressed against her back, molding her up against him. Her hands moved up his chest, feeling his muscles wriggle and jumping beneath her touch until she wrapped her arms around his neck, her fingers brushing through his hair. At that moment, she felt as if everything that had been wrong had been righted, and all the struggles that she had gone through since losing him, having Hannah, and losing her parents were now behind her. It felt like she had finally found her place in the world, and she had tried to tear her down in the darkness that had threatened to consume her, and had been pushed back by the light of her love for Jacob. Okay, let's get to the good shit. Come on.
Much like an overturned schooner. We gotta get the little man in the boat up
Schooner.
Look, I know what every single one of you are here. I know what you're here for, so I'm just here to give it to you.
That's right.
So give it, Red Boy. Give it.
Yes.
I like it.
Show me the carpet.
Get
Show
tired
me
of
the red
coughing up the
carpet.
nylon.
I'm sure there's a parody out there somewhere of that. There just has to be.
Yes, it's right here.
Oh, God damn, let's get this going. Jacob's mind catapulted it into memories he had tried to keep buried for 3 years. He tried to forget just how perfect Tessa's body was fit to his. The sexy little sounds of the he heard the sound of the cute little snore she had. He slept, hit him like a brick wall. His mind might have forgotten or tried to forget all the things that had made him love his little wife. But his mind never did. For this one kiss, everything inside him had felt broken, fell into place where it belonged. He growled low in his chest, and his kiss turned possessive. Turned possessive like the precious. Up to her ass before he said, looking under her hips, lifting her. She instinctively wrapped her legs around his waist, and they both moaned from the feel of her ground against his hard chest. Tearing his mouth from hers, he nips his way across her jaw and down her neck while her fingers brush through his hair. He reaches the point where her delicate neck met her beautiful, strong shoulders, a place he knew, drove her wild, and smiled against her skin, where her head fell back with a soft moan from her swirling lips. Top or bottom, I don't care, either one. His tongue lavished her silky smooth skin, suckling on a delicate junction that held his mark. Pain twisted in his heart for a moment, but it slipped away when he heard her whisper his name, the sound of it swirling in the surrounding air. It was something he had never thought he'd hear again. She said his name again, and he lifted his head, looking at her, cheeks flushed, with her lips swirling from being kissed. He'd never seen her more beautiful. It was until she opened her soulful, dark brown eyes, heavy with passion, and looked at him.
I need you, Jacob, please.
Wow.
Oh, my word.
I give you a run for
Oh my
your
God,
money.
Jacob, I need it. Give it to me now.
Her twinkle cave is all glistening. I had to mute because that shit was fucking triggering my cough.
Oh dear.
Elmo darling.
He closed his eyes for a moment. If this was all a dream, he never wanted to wake up. When he opened them again, a smile slowly spread across her lips.
Which lips?
Yeah. Either one's good for me. He moved her in his arms so quickly she yelped in surprise. He kissed her again and tossed her over his shoulder, smacking her ass when she started to protest. Wordlessly, he carried her into the house, kicking the back door closed behind him. Then through the kitchen, Tessa started laughing and wiggling again.
Put me down, Jacob.
Into the bedroom, Jacob smacked her ass again before tossing her onto his large bed, grinning down at her as she continued to laughing and bounced.
I missed that laugh, little wolf.
Yes! Taking his shirt over his head, he leaned over, placing his hand on either side of her. As her smile slowly slipped away, her eyes moving to his lips, then back to his eyes.
No one can make you laugh the way you did. No one can make me laugh like you did, Jacob. I've missed it too. I am Batman. I'm Batman.
David, I'm having a hard time keeping it together now. Okay.
Oh, my turn.
We got it. We're good.
Okay, you're good. Okay.
Oh, wait,
I wasn't paying attention. I was using an AI generator to make a sexy golem mixed with Elmo. I was seeing what would come up.
Oh God. Oh
Put
God.
them in Discord. You'll love it. It's fabulous.
Oh God.
You have to share it.
I love the imagination. Good job.
Yeah, here we go. Okay.
Tessa sat up, her eyes starting to turn in it. The light amber of her wolf's eyes She lifted her t-shirt over her head and tossed it out to the floor and started taking off her bra. But Jacob dropped to his knees in front of her and covered her hands with his.
Mine.
Okay.
Finally, he unhooked her bra, his eyes never leaving hers. He couldn't breathe for a moment as her beautiful breasts tumbled into his hands. Her breath hit her dark pink nipples grew hard as she brushed his thumbs over them. Radio mascara, bitch. Perfect in his hands. His thumbs brushed across her hardened nipples. Everything about her hit him perfectly. Looking up at her, her hands moved slowly over her delicate skin to push her bra completely off, and her shoulders then let his fingers dance along her skin until they cupped the back of her neck. He leaned down to kiss her again. She whimpered softly. Tongue inside her mouth and groaned louder. Her hands clinging to his arm as she deepened the kiss. He couldn't seem to get enough of her. She tasted sweet like warm vanilla. He kissed more. When she pressed her hardened nipples against his bare chest, he broke the kiss, raising his head and looking at her for a moment. Her eyes were now deep amber and like his. Her breathing was raspy, and all he could do was look at her.
Jacob!
Her voice was uncertain as she frowned. Jacob gave her a smile and shook his head and leaned into kiss his neck. With a soft sigh, she let her head fall back, giving him more access to her neck and bare shoulder. His mouth found her, the sweet soft spot again, nibbling at the skin, wishing he gave his kiss to the summer flesh, turning her over and over again. His head was worth scoring, surging forward to do just that. But as he pushed her back, this is on her chest. Cupping her breasts, his mouth found one of her pebbled cheeks and shocked and deep into his mouth. As the arch were back, as his tongue swirled around the hard nipple, his hand was moving into his head to hold it there. Let go of her with a soft. Just how she squirmed, her mind urged him on as he sucked into his one breast and then another. He started kissing down her stomach. He stopped and swirled his tongue around her belly button and then lifted his head. Her elbows were holding her up so she could watch him. And very sexy. He gave her a wicked grin as he dropped to his knees again and reached out to undo her tight jeans she was wearing. Slowly peeling them off, tucking them over her knees, and pulling them off, tossing them aside. He moved his hands up the inside of her legs, letting his fingers lightly brush over the white cotton panties she wore. So he remembered how the thing she wore was master bra, but these panties were the sexiest thing he'd ever seen.
Yeah.
They're granny panties. Everyone loves them. They do. I mean, everyone loves a good set of granny panties.
They have to be a lot.
Scooter!
I was excited. Now I'm slightly aroused.
It's about to get even better. Placing his fingers lightly across her panties, he watched her gasp softly, then he closed her eyes and he let her head fall back.
Jacob, quit teasing me.
When she said her voice was deeper, full of need.
Oh, little wolf, I haven't even begun to tease you.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Step into the kitchen. Oh, yeah.
Jacob leaned down and placed a kiss on her panties, and the musky sweet scent of her arousal. As his head, he hooked his fingers into her panties, tugging them down. Then he stared at her again. His little wolf was beautiful lying there, his curls tumbling over her shoulders, her tan body stretching out before him.
Before the night is over, I plan to feast upon every inch of you. I'm gonna put it down, Hulk Hogan.
With his pink curls between her legs, licking along the warm folds of her sex that was rewarded with deep moans of pleasure. It might have been there about 3 years since they'd been together, but her taste was still the same.
I've craved your taste every day. We're gonna put her Tessa. And now I have you right where I want you. I'm gonna dine like a starved man being given a 5-course meal. Oh, yeah.
Slip it to a Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, his back is slippery.
This bitch. Woo.
Jacob spread a finger, then slid into it as she started talking, curling it up as he slid it in and out of her. Awkward, he dropped his head, his tongue and teeth, suckling and nibbling at her little man in the boat.
Schooner.
His eyes glared with need. Resting hips toward him, a low growl rumbling in her chest.
You're still chasing me, chick. Oh, God, yes.
So confused and yet aroused at the same time.
I know. So wrong. I have so many conflicting emotions.
It's like the orgy I always wanted to be a part of. I'm thoroughly excited.
Her nose scared the bedroom, encouraging Jacob to slide another finger into her. More faster.
Jacob, yes, harder. Oh, yeah, what more? Oh, you're cooking me now.
He pretended to pleasure her little man in the boot. A sense of smell by focusing on his attention. Oh, the feel of her muscles as he flexed and clamped down on his fingers. He felt her hands threading into his hair, pulling him in closer still. He knew she was ready. Oh, God. Looking hard on her little knob, he thrust hard into her. Fingers curved, hitting a sensitive body that muzzle in her nose. Tessa screamed from the intensity of her climax. Wave after wave of it rippling through her core. Jacob had to fight to keep his fingers moving in and out of her soul, lost to the pleasure that she was. The wiser was he could roast her lips with his courteous fingers, her restlessly rocked the body. Tessa went beneath him, whimpering when she pulled his fingers out of her.
Shh, little wolf. I'm not even close to being done with you yet. Open your eyes and watch me lick your sweet my fingers.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Let us all take a moment in remembrance for the little man in the boat.
When her eyes fluttered open, they were glazed from her climax. As she watched as he licked his fingers clean.
That poor little man in the boat. He got quite the pounding, it sounds like. I'd throw him a lifesaver, but I ate it.
I don't know how I feel right now, guys.
So I have to ask. I mean, I could continue.
I think I can do this. I can do it.
if you do this as what was it? Merle?
Maud. I can do it as Maud. Oh, honey, I
God,
can.
yes, she could.
Yes, I can. Especially right now. Lord, I'm a little bit spent from what I just heard. You know, I just wanted to hear me a good radio show, and I tuned in, and Lord have mercy.
I'm a little flustered.
Elmo apologizes for nothing.
Tell anyone?
I'm confused.
There aren't enough X's for that show.
Well,
I'm not going to give anybody a chance to clean up.
I've got something stuck in my throat. Hold on 1 second.
Take a deep swallow. You'll be just fine.
No, well, oh my God is right. Tessa lay back against the mattress, her heart pounding out an erotic rhythm in her chest. Soft waves of aftershocks from her release made her body tremble. Oh, Lord, honey, you might need to take you some muscle pills. Some Doan's backache, something. Taking several deep, shuddering breaths, she brushed her hair off her damp forehead. Lord, you'll get a fever, honey. Be careful. That had been her first orgasm in over 3 years. Well, so wait till you get older. It takes a long time to get there again. Oh, honey. The last had been, well, with Jacob the night before he was banished. Now her body ached. I told her she needed some Doan's backache pills. Wanting more. Needing more from him. How had she gone 3 years without this? Yep. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God, Jacob. Her voice was low and wispy. Jacob chuckled. Oh, dear. What kind of voice does Jacob have?
Oh, I'm not done with you yet, little wolf.
Oh, that's perfect right there. Thank you,
Not
there,
done
Stizzy.
with you, little wolf.
There you go.
Lifting her head, Tessa rose up on her elbows to watch Jacob stand up and practically rip his jeans off his hips. Lord, honey, how much money you got just to rip jeans away? He let the tattered denim fall to the floor a moment before he climbed up to her body to stretch out on top of her. Well, she can't breathe. He nipped her bottom lip when she protested that she hadn't gotten a good look at him. I think this is a feller's voice.
No, I think it's her.
No, that's
Is
her.
it? Oh,
That's her.
Oh, I haven't seen your naked body in over 3 years. How do I really know I want to do this? You could have gotten flabby with a beer gut and... Oh, he captured her lips in a hot, wet kiss. Goodness. Honey. His tongue swept into her mouth, brushing against hers in a sweet dance that their bodies seemed to remember.
You think she still got her teeth?
She still got her teeth. She's still young and spicy. The sweet, tangy taste
Don't
of
ask
her.
questions and ruin this for me. I'm saying no. I was in a zone, and then the question had to come up.
Her teeth. Well,
Kind of like right in the middle, and all of a sudden she says, "Where's my car keys? Is the front door locked?"
Mom's coming over tomorrow.
Night, Teresa. Have a good night.
sweet, tangy taste of herself on his lips felt erotic and forbidden. Oh, she moaned into the kiss, demanding more from him, selfishly taking everything he was giving to her.
I'm going to be giving her a lot.
Yeah, he's giving her quite a bit so far.
He's bitter lip, bitter neck. He's a biter.
He's definitely got some nibbling issues. She whimpered when he broke the kiss and started nibbling. There he goes again, his way across her cheek to her neck, and to that spot he knew would drive her crazy. Her hands moved over his body, tracing the muscles in his arms and across his back with her fingers, and then brushed her hands over his ass. Oh, Lord, honey. Lord have mercy. Closing her eyes, she tilted her neck slightly and remembered just how much she had loved his ass. Well, a good donkey is hard to find.
It is.
She had told him all the time. He was sexy in a tight pair of jeans, but he was heart-stopping when he was naked.
That's your turn, Volstorm.
I'm gonna do naughty things to you, little wolf. Naughty things.
It's just the way she said it.
Naughty things.
So many naughty things to you.
Whispered.
So naughty.
His
That
warm
marbly
breath.
ass.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to Sunset Theater.
Oh, God.
I hurt.
please keep all hands to yourself.
He whispered, his warm breath caressing her ears, causing goosebumps to break out all over her skin. Lifting his head, he stared down at her a moment, his look unfathomable. She reached up to brush her fingers across his cheek and then through his hair. Tessa knew right then that she shouldn't be doing this. Well, no, you shouldn't. You only met him less than 24 hours ago.
Well, she had met him before.
Well, still, there's at least some breaking in time. I guess this is it, I reckon.
Right.
That's what it is. He broke it in.
She shouldn't be lying here with him in his bed. Hell, she shouldn't even be in his house or in this town. How would she survive if it all ended again?
Woman, you need to get out of your head. Okay? Just get out of your damn head. Jeez. I'm trying to get it on, and here you are thinking about all this crap.
Asking questions and shit.
Stop asking questions.
What is the meaning of life? Why is the sky blue? Can't you wait till I'm done to ask questions?
For real.
Oh, Lord. Tessa blinked and focused on Jacob as he brushed his lips over hers again. She wrapped her arms around his neck and brought his lips back to hers. The kiss started out in a desperate attempt to block out the last 3 years of pain and heartache. But Jacob took over, and the kiss turned, well, possessive, Lord have mercy, as if he was putting his claim on her as he'd done before. She closed her eyes, clinging to him, returning his kiss, arching her back to press her body as close to his as she could. Jacob moved his hips, and she felt his hard rooster pressing against her.
Rooster. That's funnier than typing it out.
Get in the hen house now.
Pressing against her hen house. Lord have mercy.
Cock-a-doodle, how do you do, bitch?
I'll tell you now.
Oh, Jacob lifted his head and Tessa opened her eyes to look up at him. And he whispered,
"This is your last chance, little wolf, before my fox runs into your hen house."
All I'm hearing in my head is, brace yourself, Myrtle.
Right. Well, she had put on her good flannel gown, so I figured why not.
The stars.
You already been down to the villages now,
Wow.
have you?
Oh dear. Okay.
didn't
Oh,
even need a
please,
donkey punch.
Jacob, don't stop. He slid his rooster back inside of her hen house with one hard thrust, both of them groaning as that rooster kept pushing inside that hen house, pulling back. Oh, good Lord. He just thrust some more in that hen house, growling into her ear, sending a tingling sensation through her whole body. Oh, she moved with him, rocking her hips as he pulled out and then slammed back. Oh my! Back into her hen house.
That's just the bird
Around
flu.
that green door.
One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Oh goodness gracious! Each
Got
entry
virus.
was harder than the first and went deeper into the hen house, and her body was getting real tight around him. Twisting his hips as he moved, he brushed against the little man in the boat. Well, no, this is the little man that's deep inside of the hen house. Oh, goodness. She could feel her release spiraling up and around her.
Any part in the storm. And how sort of there was.
There she blows.
Yar, schooners.
Well,
Oh,
blow me
goodness.
down.
Now she's trying to hang on for dear life here. She's trying to save that hen house. Her fingers dug deep into the muscles of his body, and she was arching her back, and she cried out as
Origami?
as the origami shattered around her, sending wave after wave of sensation coursing through her hen house. A moment later.
Rice paper was everywhere.
She's trying to send it to the nesting box.
Yes, he is in the nesting box. He sure enough is. He's deep in there, too. Lord. He's going to shatter some eggs if he ain't careful. Oh, Lord. Jacob growled as
I
he
can understand.
Bacon grease could be smelt for miles.
it was sure getting hot. Jacob growled as he slammed into that hen house one more time before she felt his own release from the whatever it is he's letting go of.
I think he broke a few eggs.
I think he did break some eggs right there.
Definitely broke a couple of her eggs. That's for sure.
There's some yolk floating around everywhere. Oh Lord! Tessa held Jacob when he slumped on top of her.
And I'm spent.
Both of them.
It was Liberty Week, and the seamen are running amok.
Oh, God. Fleet Week.
Both of them was panting, trying to catch their breath. Her heart was beating so hard from trying to save her hen house and them eggs, she felt lightheaded and disoriented. Me too. Jacob finally lifted his head and she opened her eyes, looking up at him. Neither of them spoke. They just looked at each other, listening to the racing of their hearts. Tessa felt as if she was drowning in the depths of his eyes. She felt a sudden shift in the air, and her heart tumbled over, and tears sprang to her eyes. There it was. All the broken places she thought she had mended seemed to split open, needing him to fill them in again. Oh, Lord, hadn't he done enough? My
He's
goodness.
feeling all right, that's for sure.
I mean, Lord have mercy. The mud is everywhere. A single tear slid out the corner of her eye, and she closed them, unwilling to let Jacob see her tears. When she felt his lips softly kissing her closed eyelids, she knew it was too late. He had seen them.
Look at me.
She opened her eyes and looked up at him.
Listen,
pinch
if you
goes
don't
away.
stop that crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about.
Okay.
Oh God.
I'm gonna hand it over. I think
Well, there won't
Maud
be any
is
video for
done.
tomorrow from me, guys. My vocal cords are shot.
Oh,
Maud is done reading. This is just too spicy for an old
Maud,
lady like
you
me.
You did a real good job there, Maud.
Nice going.
I thought you did just fine, Maud.
It was a
Well
good
done.
read.
Oh, yeah.
oh yes.
Beautiful. It was magical.
All right, so
Here's a towel. See
It
you way
was
out the door.
magically delicious.
That was the best farm story I'd ever heard.
Well, there was some definite husbandry going on.
I've never had such visuals of a hen house. That's a biology class I can understand. If I'd done that, I don't think I'd have been so confused as a teenager.
I mean, it's even got a cock and some eggs in it. I mean, hey,
There's
works out.
the roosters are just flying around, running amok.
all right, good. Are we stopped at the very top, or okay?
Yeah, we're at the very top.
The following.
You can work your way down to the bottom.
Again,
right.
we're at
Started
this
the
again.
tip.
All right.
Again.
Yeah. All right. And Tessa took a deep breath and she shook her head, caressing his cheek. You didn't, Jacob. I just need. He kissed her, silencing her for a moment, then lifted his head. I don't know what a turn of fate brought you here, but glad. Missed you. Let me make love to you, little wolf. Let me love you all night until neither of us can think of anything other than each other. She looked at him, not saying anything for a moment. Reaching up, she caressed his cheek. I lied to you because I was afraid of losing Hannah. Jacob started to speak, but she covered his lips with her fingers. Please, I need to say this. I know you wouldn't have taken her away from me. Logically, I know that, but I couldn't lose anyone else in my life. I lost you. I lost my parents. I would die if anything happened to Hannah. She was all I had left out of you. Her voice broke and her throat tightened.
Yeah, that's it. She got it tight.
Tighten it up there.
Just let me loosen up the throat a little bit here. Just a second. Give me.
It's just got too tight. It's just got too tight.
That's right.
They tried the bacon grease.
Just
Hey,
relax
Mom.
into it. That's all you gotta do.
That's all you
Take
got.
it slow.
That's just you'll get there.
All right. I think
Time.
we're all loose. Just
That's a good girl.
Oh.
Now. Okay. Jacob leaned down and kept. I'm all flustered now. Hold on.
Yeah, I was going to say to do that to people.
I do have that effect on
I'm
women.
oddly confused tonight, guys. Oddly confused.
In a good way.
Jacob leaned down and kissed her softly, then rolled onto the bed and pulled her close. She curled into him and felt and realized that this was truly what being home felt like. She leaned up and kissed him, pouring all her needs and fears that had built up in their 3 years they were apart. He pulled her flushed against him, returning her kiss and rolling her on her back, wrapping her arms round his neck, then ran her hands down his back. Tonight, she would let him love her until they both were satisfied or satiated. Sorry. Okay, satiated. Yeah. That's a
Oof,
better word. I
You
like
got
that word
excited
better.
about this one.
I
Mhm.
did. Tomorrow, she would overanalyze this, overanalyze all this and what the future held for them all. Voices brought Tessa out of a deep sleep. Was this bitch asleep? Wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Okay. Jacob had made good on his promise, and by the time they were too exhausted to move, they had fallen asleep, wrapped around each other. She opened her eyes, blinking several times to adjust to the light, coming in through the window across from the bed. Pulling the blankets over her head, he Dutch ovened her, and she mumbled about the man having no sense.
From the window to the wall.
Who put bed so the sun shined directly on it in the morning? Jacob did, apparently. She lay there for a few minutes, listening to Hannah's small voice tell Jacob exactly how she liked her eggs scrambled with blueberries in her toast.
Blueberries!
Oh, God.
Hey, come on. You know about that.
He made an appearance.
What the story doesn't say is that I was peeking in through the window. Because there ain't no lovin' like a Dutch oven lovin'.
Oven loving.
By Pillsbury. Get yours today.
Damn it, man. Okay. All right. Tessa couldn't help but grin at that. Hannah was very particular about her eggs only because her Uncle Sean made her that way. He could come over on Sunday mornings to fix them all breakfast. He was already there, Hannah. He was already there. And play with his goddaughter. Her chest tightened. She missed Sean and knew she needed to call him. Throwing her legs over the side of the bed, she searched to the floor for her clothes, then saw them folded on the dresser. Frowning, she went over to them and slowly dressed. When had Jacob started folding clothes? Come to think of it, and his house was pretty clean too. When did he start cleaning? 3 years certainly did change people. No, it's called a maid. Tessa dressed and walked to the kitchen, stopping at the door and leaning against it to watch Jacob and Hannah. He had a dish towel wrapped around little Hannah's waist, and she stood a chair next to him by the sink helping him do dishes. She was talking as only a 3-year-old could when someone she liked stood still long enough to listen, and he was nodding and washing dishes. Once he'd finished a dish, he would hand it to Hannah and help her rinse it off, then put it in the dish strainer. Let's see. I never thought I'd live to see the day that you'd be doing dishes, Jacob. Both Jacob and Hannah turned around to smile at her, and her heart felt like it had literally flipped over. It used to do that when Jacob would turn and smile at her unexpectedly, but now, a little pitter-patter in her pants, now it had her chest tightening almost. Unexpectedly painful. There was more than one heart at stake now. More than one life to ruin if the same reckless decisions were made as had been before.
Mommy?
Tessa blinked, focusing on her daughter who stood with her soapy hands at her side watching her. Hannah always had a way of knowing when Tessa was upset or distracted or even angry. One day she'd have to explore that, but for now, she plastered on a smile and walked to them. She untied the dish towel from around her daughter's waist and dried her soapy hands, and she leaned over to kiss her. Lifting her head, she turned it and smiled at Jacob, then helped Hannah down. You, little one, need to go up and change from your pajamas so you can head up, and I'll be right there. Hannah ran out of the kitchen as Tessa straightened. She's adorable, Tessa turned to look at Jacob. Sorry. Thank you. I didn't do it alone. Not really. We lived with my folks and well, Sean is her godfather, and he is good at it. Jacob nodded.
Makes her say, "Oh God."
Jacob's daddy. Who's your daddy? Oh no, it's Sean.
Well, things happen.
Man, did you ever see 3 Men and a Baby?
Oh,
Jacob
yeah, I've
nodded.
heard of that. I don't know about all that right now.
Oh,
People getting too whipped up in that two daddies thing. I don't know about it.
I'm thinking this is more of a fence post family.
Oh, we got that.
Take care, boss lady.
Jacob nodded as he dried his hands, then turned to wrap his arms around her waist, pulling her to him. I'll have to call Sean and ask him why he kept such important news away from me. Well, we know why. He dipped his head and brushed his lips over hers. She shook her head when he lifted his. He did it for the both of us. He knew there was no way you'd come back to be with us. Do you guys talk all the time? Jacob shook his head, lifting her to sit on the counter. Oh, I see where this is going. And stepped between her legs, pinning her with his arms. I haven't talked to Sean in 3 years. He contacted me a month or so after everything, but that's it. He brushed his lips over hers. So I was thinking while I watched you sleep last night, that's not creepy. He creeped into Tessa's cheeks as she raised an eyebrow. You watched me sleep? Did I fart? I'm going to hand it over.
Very well.
Oh, yes.
Who's this?
Are you going to do a little pig snort?
You have the cutest little pig snot that I'd hoped. Wait a minute. I'd hoped you still made when you were in a deep sleep. I do not. Oh, little wolf. You do too. But I was saying, I was thinking last night, I saw a man in a blueberry beret staring in the window. Apparently, he was just here as a safety boy. It's Sunday, and the shop is closed, and so is your twinkly little cave. Why don't the three of us spend the day together? Let us get to know each other. Let me get to know my daughter. Tessa nodded. I think that would be fine. Is there some place we can go and shift? Hannah? Why, yes.
Well,
I happen
you
to have
need
a
to
bucket
go out
right over
behind the
here.
barn if you're going to do that.
No,
Okay?
it's called the bathroom. Don't use the bucket. Don't use the bucket.
I have a bucket right over here. It says Lowe's. Hannah has. Oh, wait a minute. And shift. Hannah has the most beautiful golden fur. Daughter. Since when I. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh, whatever. Daughter. Since when are you a father, Jacob? The female voice had both of them turning their heads toward the back door.
Uh-oh.
And the third wheel arrives.
I got somebody coming in my back door again, and I just wasn't paying attention.
Don't let them come in your back door.
I know, right?
Big green weenie strikes again.
It's startling. That damn invisible man. Tessa didn't know how long they all stood there staring at each other. But Jacob finally straightened. She turned to him and heard her words echo back to her. Who is this woman, Jacob? I'm going to scratch this bitch's eyes out. The two women looked at each other as Tessa jumped off the counter. She regretted her decision the minute her feet hit the floor. She might be 5'6", but the woman standing at the back door was a good 3 or 4 inches taller than she was, and thin compared to Tessa's own stockier, athletic body that apparently made Jenny Craig cry.
She wore a pair of shorts and a tank top with perfectly painted toes that probably
Why was her
matched her
tank?
nails.
Wait! I don't understand. Why did her tank top have perfectly painted toes?
Did I say tainted?
Did
Well,
you?
know.
Taint?
I think Shizzy heard what he
I
wanted
heard
to hear.
taint.
Shizzy, yeah.
I think that
that's
was
what-
Shizzy.
I personally would
Why
have
does
just
she
said
have tainted
pumpernickel,
toes on
but-
her tank top? I don't
Why
understand.
is there taint? I'm confused.
I know. That Fromunda cheese
Taint
gets
on her
everywhere.
tank top?
Guys,
She needs to maybe wear that tank top correctly. You're not supposed to wear it below the waist.
The taint, the grundle, the fleshy fun bridge.
Yeah.
PSA, it is important to not have taint down there, guys, okay?
Tessa still wore the outfit that she'd worn yesterday. Her hair was a tangle, out-of-control curls that she'd yet to tame this morning. And she'd never been the type to get mani-pedis. She'd been too busy running the fields around the packland. I just chew my toenails. Jacob reached out to touch Tessa's arm, but she jerked it away, stepping out of reach. Jacob, who is this woman? I know she's not a member of your family because I know everyone in your family. Told you. Fence post. Jacob glanced at her, then at the other woman, then back to Tessa.
Tessa, this is Lorna. Lorna Dune. Looney Lorna. But don't pay any attention to
Looney
that.
Lorna.
She was only a side piece until I could get with Hermione and find you again. Lorna, what are you... Wait a minute. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Oh, I'm starting to stutter. That's what it is. I'm nervous. I'm in a compromising situation. I think I'll just jump out of a window.
Well, time to go.
Lorna crossed her arms. Attitude apparent. Wait a minute. Crossed her arms. Attitude apparent the way she stood there, boring holes into Jacob's head. I thought I'd seen you give a few days. I thought I'd give you a few days to cool off so we could talk. Now I see how you let off some of your temper.
Yeah, sweet release.
Damn straight.
That's right.
Damn straight, bitch.
That's
It's
right.
called
Well,
We Were Just on a Break. Tessa, rules don't apply. Tessa knew that the last comment was directed at her, which had her wolf raising its head and growling low in her chest. Tessa may feel like the woman might possibly have a point, but not her wolf. To her wolf, she had every right to be by Jacob's side. He was her mate. Jacob did grab her arm then, pulling her back against him. Tessa struggled. That's right. Oh, but he only tightened his
always
grip on
better
her.
when they struggle.
Lorna, we said we all needed to... Wait a minute, Lorna. We said all we needed to say. Now, take your dirty clothes and your dirty towel and get the fuck out.
Dirty girl.
I think
FedEx,
after
bitch.
2 years, I think after 2 years, there would be more to say. Tessa lifted her chin and jerked out of Jacob's hold, her eyes burning from, what?
Unshed.
unshed.
Oh, yeah. God damn, this medicine is making my eyes all fucked up. Burning from unshed angry tears and backed away.
I think the two of you need to talk. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is the girl.
It's the
Never
chick.
mind.
I
That's even
think
funnier. That's even funnier.
Okay, well, we'll do it then.
He's
I
just
think
like,
the two of you
"Come
need
out,
to
you two
talk."
bitches talk.
Yes. I think the two of you need to talk. I'll be with my daughter.
There we go. Chapter 8, everybody. And that is it for tonight.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord Almighty.
Good. It was so good. It was a good one. It was so
That
good.
was a good, yeah.
That was good.
Yes, that was so tasty. That was so tasty. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
This is funny. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
And we will see everybody. Well, let's see. Monday, doing Monday night. Well, I don't know if we're going to do a a stream Monday, but I'll talk that out with the boys for the derailed stream. But definitely we'll be doing Sarah Boone. I don't know if y'all.
I'm not doing
Who's
her,
gonna be
but
able to
hey,
make it.
whatever floats your boat, man.
Hey, if you're into that, Shizzy, you
I
know,
wouldn't
you do
touch
whatever
her
you
with
need.
your dick and
Oh,
Volstorm pushing. I'll
did
tell you that
everybody-
right now.
What?
I should play.
How did I get involved in this?
Well, hold on. Watch this and you'll understand. You came in after this, so I'm going to play this and I'm going to do an outro.
In a suitcase small and tight, not like you. Sarah's laugh rings through the night. Such a brute, drunk and silly, thought she'd play. Crazy witch, locked me in just for the day. Life's a bitch. Can't you hear me, Sarah, please? Hook ass bitch. Out of air, my lungs they squeeze. Let me out, you witch. This is not a funny joke. You put your hands around my throat. Feeling trapped and nearly choke. Gonna croak. Can't you hear me, Sarah, please? Hook ass bitch. Out of air, my lungs they squeeze. Let me out, you witch. This is not a funny joke. You put your hands around my throat. Feeling trapped and nearly choke. Gonna croak. Sarah, let me out, I'm begging, please. We can stop, I'm almost begging, please. Please, someone don't leave me here. Lost my hair, in this case I disappear. Are you there? Dark and tight, I curl and wait. Are you passed out? You'd return my fate. You emptied my stash out. The game has turned to cruel. Why are you filming late? Inside I feel the fool. I can't breathe. Wasn't meant to be my night. Hiding in this suitcase tight. Sarah's giggles fade away, leaving me as her castaway. Sarah, let me out, I'm begging, please. We can stop, I'm almost begging, please. Please, someone don't leave me here. Lost my hair, in this case I disappear. Are you there? Boom. Looking tight, I curl and wait. Are you passed out? Hoping you return my fate. Empty my stash out. Stupid game has turned to cruel. Are you feeling me? Lost inside, I feel the fool. I can breathe. Wasn't meant to be my night. Hiding in a suitcase tight. Sarah's giggles fade away, leaving me as a castaway. Sarah, let me out. I'm begging, please. Breathing stuff, I'm almost begging. Please. Drink some God, don't leave me here. Lost my air in this year. In this case, I disappear. Are you there? Sarah.
Yep.